All right, what's going on, all my endurance athletes? We're going to be talking today about planning. And obviously, we're coming up into 2026, and the 2026 calendar year of competition is coming up. So what are you doing for your competition, and how are you going about your planning? That's what we need to be thinking about at this point, because what a lot of people going about their program, what they forget is they actually don't do their own plan. They go through and they focus on the Runna app now, or they go through the Strava performance apps, or they go through Garmin Connect, or they buy a plan off Training Peaks, or any other plans that you may find online. However, you should at least know a little bit about what goes into that planning so that you understand what and why we're doing certain things, just in case, one, you decide to go off the rails and do your own thing outside the training plan. And two, those training plans are basic. If you're not working specifically with a coach who is going to give you very detailed advice based off of your racing schedule or your training schedule or what your goals are for the year, then an off-the-shelf on the internet plan is not going to necessarily provide you with the greatest results. So the one thing I want you to take away from today is the difference between macrocycles, mesocycles, and microcycles when we're going about training for our races. We're trying to achieve our goals for the year. So the macrocycle is obviously going to be the biggest portion of this, and that macrocycle is going to be, in this case, the entire year of 2026. What are we planning on doing in 2026? What are those goals? What do we want to achieve? What races are we doing? What A, B, C races are we doing for that year? Mesocycles are going to be broken up into smaller cycles. They could be as long as a few weeks long. They could be a month or two long. And that's going to be very specific goals built under that of things we're trying to achieve on our way to achieving those bigger goals for the entire year of the macrocycle. And then our microcycle is going to be almost as long as a week. Could be a little bit longer depending on what our training block looks like or what the training schedule looks like, whether it's 7 days or 10 days. However long you or your coach are putting that into, if you're building it out that way, that's perfectly fine. Just understand that that's your microcycle. And we're going to have a few microcycles within a build before we start taking a break. So for example, if we are putting in a training block, what we kind of want to do is have 3 weeks of build and then a week of down training. Another 3 weeks of build and down training, especially as we're getting into or approaching competitive season and we're trying to really train up for a specific race or a specific goal. And if we have multiple races or goals throughout the year, we want to make sure we're tracking those as we're going between different microcycles and mesocycles to make sure we're staying on track, making sure we are adjusting appropriately if we're feeling a little bit achy or if we're not recovering as quickly as we expect to. But if we are keeping track of all this, and if we are having a better understanding or paying attention to how we should be feeling as we're going throughout our training cycles, we'll be able to make adjustments in the next mesocycle so we don't have any injuries or pain or hindrance to our overall macrocycle goals at the end of the year. If you have any questions about training, planning, if you have any specific questions about what you should be doing for coming up in 2026 for your specific goals, put them down in the comments. Let me know what we can do in order to help you, whether that's in a coaching sense, a pain sense, trying to get rid of pain, or if you're just looking to get started. We have different solutions that we can provide for you from Endurance Unleashed. Again, put that down in the comments. Make sure you like and follow.